Good morning, neighbors. I hope you're all staying warm today. I'm looking forward to worshiping with you in person next week, but I'm so glad that we are able to worship online together as well. Lonely, broken, feeling lonely to my soul. You got the look, you got the feel, you got the face of true love. You got the charm, you got the appeal. I've got to let you go. So long, sweet embraces, so long, summertime. You got the power, you got the faith, you got the burning fever. You got the night, you got the day, I've got the old dark cloud. The sun is gonna shine again. 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 Long time I've been waiting. Long time, long enough. You got the song, you got the dance, you got the inspiration. You've got it all in the palm of your hands. I've got no hand to hold. The sun is gonna shine again. 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 Something tells me it'll be alright. Something tells me it's gonna be okay. The sun is gonna shine again. The sun is gonna shine again. The sun is gonna shine again. The sun is gonna shine again.
Well, hello, neighbors. Hey, I'm sorry that we can't meet in person today. It's just the wind is so much, blowing so much, it's just kind of dangerous, and we had to make the decision that was safe for all. It's not something that I love to do. The last thing I want to do is cancel an in-person service. We just hate it. I know that Will would rather be playing, live here in the church than at his home. But it's a situation that we have, and sometimes we just have to take the best of what we're given. And I pray that the weather is warms up soon. And it's a terrible day to wear a toupee because the wind's just blowing everywhere. But I hope that it's something that will pass us by, and we'll be able to meet again together very, very soon. We have been, as we started last week. See, this is one of the reasons I hate canceling, because we just started a new series last week. We started Galatians, which is Paul's letter to the Galatians. And if you missed that sermon, that message, I really do want to encourage you to watch that message, because it really kind of sets everything up for us. We're gonna pause on Galatians this week. And we're going to pick up where we left off when we get back together in person. But for this Sunday, since we're meeting just kind of like this, I thought that we would just give kind of a background to who this Paul was. Before he was called Paul, he was actually called, he referred to himself as Saul, S-A-U-L. And he was associated with the Pharisees, the religious leaders at the time. There's a scene in Acts that plays out like any modern movie would play out right now. You set the scene and you see this person named Stephen. Stephen was one of the new disciples, and he was arrested very much the same way that a lot of the early Christians were arrested. He was arrested under false pretense. He was helping to spread the news that Jesus, had been risen from the dead, that he was trying to spread the news of the gospel, the good news, the message of love, the message that the kingdom of heaven is now open for everyone. In doing so, the Pharisees got threatened by that because they brought him to court and they charged him with telling people that this Jesus guy was going to destroy everything that they knew. He was going to destroy the temple. He was going to destroy their faith, their religion. And he was going to make a mockery over the Torah, the laws of Moses. None of that was true. And Stephen tries to make his case that Jesus was not there to uproot everything. He was there to fulfill everything. That everything that even the Pharisees and the people of that time had been following through prophecy and all of that has come true in the form of Jesus. They weren't trying to uproot everything. They were trying to, it was a fulfillment of everything. But he was facing a smear campaign at the time. He was facing rhetoric that was not true, that invoked fear among people, and turned people against the early Jesus movement. They were threatened by the loss of what they knew. Yeah, I wonder if that sounds familiar to any of us. We see that happening a lot, where change and things like that, people feel threatened by that. And sometimes they even try to create even more fear to get people on their side, to hate the other side that is doing something that is new to them. For some reason, I don't know why, but we just seem to hate things that are new to us. And we see this today in our politics, in our world. We're seeing it very much in the Methodist Church. There's a movement that people have gone around and told people that churches like Neighbors Church, which is a Methodist church, that we are uprooting everything that we have known in Methodism and all of that kind of stuff. It actually has to do with the fact that churches like ours are accepting of all people, of everybody, because we believe that that's the message of Christ, that acceptance, that we take the message of Christ and it has grown, even the church has grown and our acceptance has grown. But a lot of folks have looked at that and they have told other churches that what is happening by churches like ours that are accepting of people in LGBTQ IA plus community, that we are denying Christ, that we're denying the resurrection, that we're doing all this kind of stuff, that we're changing, we're uprooting, we're destroying the message of Christ, which is simply not true. But a lot of churches have believed this, and a lot of churches have actually chosen to leave the Methodist Church, not because of LGBTQIA+, but rather because they've been told that what we're doing is we're not believing in the resurrection, we're not believing in Jesus, we're not believing in, all kinds of things like this. And a lot of people have chosen to leave the Methodist Church because of that. Well, that's very similar to the things that were happening in the time of Saul, with Stephen being arrested under false pretenses. He was showing the expansion of the kingdom. He was talking about the acceptance and the love for everybody, the message of Christ. He was taking the scripture that they knew, the laws of Moses, the Torah, and he was expanding on that. And he was saying, okay, now we move on to this, we evolve to this. This is the next chapter of this very important story of God's love for God's people. But there were falsehoods of people saying that wasn't true, that he wasn't teaching acceptance, he wasn't teaching openness, he was going to destroy the message of Christ. Or not the message of Christ, the message of Moses, the message of the Old Testament. And so naturally, a lot of people, because of that false information, got into an uproar, and they actually turned to violence. They actually turned to taking stones, and they stoned Stephen to death. Even as Stephen was being stoned to death and dying, he pleaded with God to forgive the very people that were stoning him. And one of the people, when they got ready to stone him, they took off their cloaks. They handed their cloaks to the guy named Saul, who stood there and was part of this fervor of wanting this new message to them to be destroyed. And in doing so, Saul approved and witnessed the killing of Stephen. And he didn't even end there. He made it his mission to go out and to destroy this new church because of fear. Because of fear of this change, because of fear of all of this, because of falsehoods. And it would take a miraculous moment of truth in Saul's life, where Jesus appears to him and says, "Saul, why do you persecute me?" And shows Saul the truth, shows that he is not there to destroy everything, but actually to grow and enhance the things that they have known, to expand that kingdom of God, to fulfill everything that Saul had ever learned. It was being fulfilled in Jesus Christ. And once he got used to that, once he realized that, once he knew that, then Saul changed his name to Paul and made it his mission to speak the truth, to go forward and to share that, to kind of take over where Stephen left off. There's so many times that we give into false propaganda. We give into things, that images we see and are told, but they're simply just not true. What Saul feared was change. What Paul accepted, what changed Paul's life, was the message of love. In our world, that's something that we have to keep in mind. The message of Christ is always going to be a message of love. And so when we see images saying that this is this and all of this stuff, when the message behind it is you must dislike and hate this person, we have to look at that. Is that truly a message that's coming from Christ? Is that message of love? If only Saul would have known that then, that what he was doing was turning down Stephen's message of love and acceptance. Being a religious person, he learned he learned that message of God is about love. It's about acceptance. It's about kindness. It's about being there for each other. It's about loving your neighbor as you would love yourself. If only Saul would have known that, rather than giving into all of the falsehoods of this is going to be destroyed and the what ifs and all of this fear and all of this kind of stuff. Stephen maybe would have been able to carry on that message. Maybe Saul would have been able to even partner with him. Instead, Stephen faces this horrible death. Paul has this moment of realization, and he's then at that time, able to carry on that message of love. And that's where we join Paul, is he's so now impassioned by this message of love and kindness. He gets it. He realizes that the things that he has been told by so many people is not true, that Christ is not a threat, that Christ is truly a message of love and acceptance. And he embraces that, and he starts all of these churches throughout his entire area and beyond. He starts these new churches, all based on this message that Christ is opening the doors of the kingdom to everyone. That's where we pick up with the letter to the Galatians, as one of those churches that Paul starts. And as he's starting that, he's facing criticism, the very kind of same criticism that he once faced, that he was a part of with Stephen. And so that's where we're picking up with Galatians. And I hope that as we take on this study and we look and delve into this, we see the similarities. We see how much of our division is just tearing us apart. It is splitting the church. It's splitting our politics. It is turning people against each other. And most of it is based on these fearmongers and all these falsehoods. And what we're missing is that message of Christ, that message of love, that message of inclusion. The church has even expanded from the time of Paul starting those churches. We're going to learn how we have taken the message that Paul kind of started about opening it up to other people, and we've even taken it beyond that, because as Christians, that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to sit 2,000 years ago. We're supposed to take the message of 2,000 years ago, and we're supposed to grow that. We are planting seeds, and we are growing. I hope that we can continue to understand that, and I hope that we can continue to delve into that. Truly, if you have not seen the first message of Galatians, go back to YouTube and please watch that. And this Sunday, this coming Sunday, hopefully we'll all be together again, and we will continue with the letter of Galatians and see how Paul struggles with facing people that are doing to him very much the same thing that he did to others. If Paul can change from Saul, the killer of Christians, to Paul, the opener of the kingdom and the sharing of God's love, if that can change, then there's hope for us all. There is hope for every one of us. We do not have to be divided. We do not have to fight each other. We do not have to make villains of each other. If Saul can turn to Paul, then our hate can turn to love. Love God, love yourself, and love your neighbor. I'll see you next week.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far. Grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shine.